Hello everyone, welcome back to our course. In this section, we'll talk about the functions of nonverbal communication. What do we use nonverbal communication for and why? Altogether, there are 5 functions of nonverbal communication: repeating, complementing, substituting, regulating, and contradicting. Let's look at them one by one. First function of nonverbal communication is repeating. In this case, nonverbal communication is used together with verbal one to repeat what the speaker is saying. For example, when you say yes, you will nod your head. When you are giving someone directions, turn left and then go straight ahead, you will at the same time use gestures to show directions. And when you say quiet, you may put your index finger to your lips. In these examples, nonverbal behaviors are used to repeat or emphasize the verbal message, although they could have been used alone to convey the same meaning. The second function is that nonverbal behaviors can add to or complement a verbal message. This function is related to repeating, but not the same. For example, smile and say, "Hi, how are you?" Bow and say, "I'm sorry." Pat one's shoulder and say, "Good job." Here, smiling, bowing, and patting may have different meanings when used in different situations. However, when they are used together with "Hi, how are you?", "I'm sorry," and "Good job," they are given the specific meaning, that is, to complement the verbal message. The third function is substituting. When verbal communication is impossible or inappropriate, nonverbal messages may substitute for verbal ones. For example, in a quiet situation where verbal communication would be disturbing, or in a crowded or loud place, we may use gestures to substitute for words. There are also times when we know it's better not to say something aloud. For instance, if you want to signal to a friend that you think his or her date is a loser, you are more likely to do so non-verbally. The fourth function of nonverbal communication is regulating. That is, we can regulate our conversations through nonverbal signals. This is mostly concerned with turn-taking. For example, when you raise your hand, you indicate that you have something to say. Other turn-taking signals include the rising or falling intonation of your voice. A rising intonation usually indicates a question, and a falling intonation indicates the conversation is coming to an end. We may also stop making hand gestures and shift our eye contact to the person who we think will speak next. Finally, nonverbal communication can be used to contradict spoken words. For example, a person may say, "You can't do anything right," in a mean tone, but follow that up with a wink, which could indicate the person is teasing or joking. When someone misses the bus and is going to be late for work, and he said, "That's great," with an angry face and a downcast tone, we know the person is frustrated instead of feeling great. As you can see, nonverbal communication may serve different purposes. According to Peter Anderson, while verbal communication is our primary tool for solving problems and providing detailed instructions, nonverbal communication is our primary tool for communicating emotions or attitudes. What about you? Think about your daily communication. What do you use nonverbal communication for and why? You may add your examples to our discussion board.